guys, it's Will, Vinyl Appreciation Society. You are watching First Listen. Today we're going to be talking about unreleased tracks and singles, D.O.A. This is released on Sudden Death Records, which I believe is the band's own label. If you're on YouTube and you're not following us, if you're not subscribed, that would be awesome if you could subscribe. You give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down, give us a comment, let us know what you think. If you're on Instagram TV, you can mosey on over to our account and follow us, or give us a comment, whatever you feel like doing. That would be awesome. Thank you so much. So if you are here just for the quick hit and you want to know if you should listen to this or not, and I apologize if this is a CD and this page is called Vinyl Appreciation Society, but it is what it is. If you like old school punk and if you like old school hardcore, you don't need me to tell you about D.O.A. You probably don't need me to tell you to listen to this, because you're probably already listening to it. And if you're not and you like those things, go and listen to it. So, D.O.A. is essentially a quintessential band of the wave of groups that transitioned from punk, what we think of as like the 70s kind of like UK punk sound, so like the post-CBGB's Ramones stuff that came with the Clash, Sex Pistols, Stiff Little Fingers, Sham 69, like all those bands. And then Dead Kennedys, like in America and stuff. And then the transition into hardcore, which came with Bad Brains, The Germs, God, who else? Like X, Minor Threat, Black Flag, like all that stuff. They are of that wave of bands, right? So they formed in the late 70s. They're a Canadian band, and they are absolutely OGs. They are still going. They are just as good as any of the bands from that generation era. Again, if you listen to this type of music, if you know them, you already know this. You don't need me to tell you that. But if you're new to this type of music, if you're just discovering it, like, they're the real fucking deal, like 100%. And this is a collection of unreleased tracks and singles recorded between 1978 and 1982. So one of the things that's really interesting about this band is that they put out a record in 1981 called Hardcore 81 that is thought to be the first instance of anyone referring to that type of music as hardcore. At that time, it was just a different type of punk music, right? And the thing that's so awesome about this compilation, that it spans 4 years in the band's early history, when it was a very formative time, they were finding their sound, and the fact that it's kind of like singles and random tracks, and it's a smattering of things, this compilation, you get all these facets of the band's sound. So you have stuff on here that is heavy enough and aggressive enough to definitely be called hardcore, to appeal to fans of hardcore, and I even think to appeal to fans of like early thrash, Suicidal Tendencies, things like that. And then you have like really melodic, well-written, like rabble-rousing punk rock that reminds me of like Stiff Little Fingers and stuff, like the early Clash stuff. And so when I was in high school, or middle school actually, I discovered punk, and then middle school and high school, I listened to punk like nonstop. It was my whole thing, and I got really into early hardcore, and I loved like Minor Threat. I still love Minor Threat. I listened to Bad Brains. Sick of It All was one of my favorite bands in high school, and I was going back and listening to all the older bands too. And so for someone who kind of came of age listening to this music, and like punk has really informed a lot of the things that I do in my life, the way I think about politics and society and things like that, it was like a really important foundational influence for me to get this compilation, and to be able to this came out in 2019, so this is recent, to be able to like sit down and listen to like an hour's worth of music that incorporates everything I love about like old school hardcore and old school punk is like really a joy. And like I haven't had a single CD that I've gotten in like and a CD is a different experience for me, because with a record player, or with a record and with a vinyl, you sit down, you put it on the record player, you're doing stuff around the house, you flip it over. But with CDs, I usually listen to them in the car. So like this is my commute music, or this is my going on long drives music or whatever. And I haven't had like in a CD that I've enjoyed as much as this one in years. Like I just throw it in, I listen to the whole thing. Like it's nostalgic partly, but it's also it invokes my ire, not towards the music, but it makes you want to go out and change the world and burn society down and start something new from the ashes, that whole punk rock thing. So, I don't need to go on about this. Like, I really love this compilation, and you should definitely go out and get it. You should definitely be listening to D.O.A. if you're not already, and you're a fan of punk, and you're a fan of hardcore. And by hardcore, I'll add the caveat that I don't mean kind of like bros in basketball shorts playing beatdown riffs. I mean like, old school hardcore, which is Black Flag, Minor Threat, all that kind of stuff. And then the bands that grew out of it, bands like Bane or Modern Life is War and stuff like that. So if that appeals to you, check this out. Well, as always, we'll include links in the description if you're on YouTube as to where you can buy this, listen to this, etc., etc. This is First Listen. My name is Will. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again soon.
Fuck this shit. Suck like shit. Prepare